This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
Well, it is Monday, December 1st. Happy December. 1 year ago today, Joe Biden was president. Kamala Harris was vice president. 1 year and 1 month ago today, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris were on the ballot. There was a choice. America had to choose Donald Trump and J.D. Vance or Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. That is still mind-boggling to me that 75 million people a year ago said they wanted Kamala Harris and Tim Walz as president and vice president. Man, did we dodge a bullet. Here's the problem, is 4 years of Joe Biden did so much destruction to this country. I think for the rest of our lives, we're going to be seeing the damage. And Trump has 3 more years, and hopefully Vance will have his chance to clean up the mess. It's impossible. What they did to the country in 4 years, letting in 15, 20 million illegal aliens, opening the borders to the world. It was a plot, a strategy, and we are going to pay the price for that forever. On Wednesday afternoon in Washington, D.C., National Guardsman Sarah Beckstrom paid with her life. She was murdered by an illegal alien. Oh, I'm sorry, an asylum seeker who was let into this country by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Alejandro Mayorkas. It is infuriating to watch what we're seeing right now, this invasion that took place for 4 years. And now a young 20-year-old National Guardswoman woman is gone, is dead, is murdered. And Andrew Wolf, 24-year-old National Guardsman, is clinging to life. It doesn't sound good what poor Andrew Wolf is going through right now. We wish him the best. We pray for him. But now we have to listen. This makes it worse. This makes it so damn maddening, so infuriating. We have to listen to people tell us, oh, yeah, we vetted those guys. We vetted Ramalu Lakanawal. We vetted him. Get me that photo from the airlift out of Kabul in August of 2021. Take a look at this. This is a plane full of Afghan refugees. This is, I'm going to guess, 900. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Mayorkas and Jen Psaki want you to believe they vetted these people. Oh, yeah, there was a complete vetting. We made sure that we didn't allow in, Islamic terrorists who want to kill us. That is the biggest lie ever told. They didn't vet them. How could you vet them? That's my question today. For anyone who says these people were vetted, how? How do you vet people who are escaping war-torn Afghanistan? What do you make a phone call to the Taliban? Could you tell me about Mr. Lakanawal? Could you tell me, does he have a criminal record? Has he been radicalized? Is he a Muslim fanatic who wants to kill us all? Could you clear that up for us? How do you vet someone from Somalia? As Trump has pointed out, it's not even a country. It's a place. Yeah, they don't have a central government. Do you think they have an immigration office? Do you think they have people we can call and say, yeah, there's a Somali guy who wants to become an American. Could you tell us if he's committed any violent crimes? Is he a fanatic? Is he a radical? Is he a terrorist? We didn't do that. They are such liars. We let this man into our country along with 123,000 other refugees from Afghanistan. And we just said, yeah, spread them around the country. This guy was sent to Washington State, where he lived with his wife and 5 children. He drove across the country with the express purpose of killing National Guardsmen in D.C. who are there to restore law and order, to protect the citizens of D.C. And Democrats, immediately after Sarah Beckstrom was murdered, blamed Trump, said she shouldn't have been there. Really? So you have a soldier, you have a law enforcement agent in a crime-ridden city, and it's their fault that they were there protecting people? As we know, DC has been cleaned up. The murder rate is way down, carjackings, everything, violent crime. So it's working. What they're doing there is protecting people, is enforcing the law, is restoring law and order. And this maniac, this Muslim fanatic, went there with a revolver with 4 bullets in it, said he's going to kill federal law enforcement agents. And immediately we heard, well, Trump's fault. He put them there. Well, he put them there and it's working. He put them there and lives were saved before this guy showed up. And now, what do we have to hear? What do we have to listen to? Democrats saying, this is Trump's fault. He put them there. No, this is Joe Biden's fault for letting this monster in our country. And you have to wonder today, Operation Allies Welcome. That's the name of the operation, to bring in 123,000 people from Afghanistan. How many of them think just like Mr. Lakanawal? How many of them want to kill us? Already, one other guy who was part of Operation Allies Welcome was arrested in Fort Worth, Texas, for saying he was building a bomb. He was going to kill the infidels. He posted a video on TikTok. I just sent this to you, Ironhead. It's amazing. He's on there with a bunch of other Muslim fanatics. They're speaking in their native tongue, and they're saying, we're going to kill infidels. They put it on TikTok, so they get caught. He's been arrested. His name is Muhammad Alawakaza. All these names. Muhammad. His name's Muhammad. And we got him. He's arrested. But that's 2 people. That's 2. One guy killed Sarah Beckstrom. The other guy is building a bomb to kill the infidels in Fort Worth, Texas. Why are they here? Why? Why'd we let them in? Why don't we get them the hell out? Can we all agree with that? Is there any argument here, any debate that we must do everything to stop the next attack? Trump has ordered a halt of all immigration from 19 countries. He's calling it reverse migration. How could you be against this? How could you oppose this unless you're Ilhan Omar or Tim Walz and you think they're, your voters? How could anybody have a problem with this? Why do we live like this? Why do we allow this? Why are we giving these people refuge, giving them asylum? Yes, the Trump administration gave him asylum. That was a mistake, but Biden let him in our country and told us it's safe, told us he'd been vetted. Get me Psaki and Mayorkas. It is amazing. They looked you in the eye. They looked into the camera and said, yes, we have vetted these people. We have vetted. We're safe. We're good. That is not possible. That was among the many lies, perhaps the most brazen and insulting lie they told us. Yeah, we're good. These people don't want to kill us. They just want to come here and work hard and build a better life. It was a lie then. It is a lie now. Check this out from back in 2021 when Jen Psaki and Mayorkas were asked, have we vetted these people? Are we good? Are we good? Or do they want to kill us? Go ahead.
Deemed a security risk of some kind. What reassurances can you make about the screening process and the attempts to make sure that somebody like that doesn't make his or her way here?
I can absolutely assure you that no one is coming into the United States of America who has not been through a thorough screening and background check process.
You're referring to what we termed Operation Allies Welcome, a program that we are very proud of, that we instituted to provide refuge for individuals, many of whom.
Will you be reviewing those they came in on parole? Will you be reviewing them on a case-by-case basis?
We reviewed them on a case-by-case basis, and when those parole periods are subject to renewal, we will do so.
It certainly is. Operation Allies Welcome
which we led in a coordinated effort across the government, is a great source of pride for us to bring to safety in the United States individuals who stood alongside our armed forces in Afghanistan. We support the Adjustment Act, and we are indeed looking at the period of parole, its upcoming expiration, and whether indeed that should be extended.
A program we are very proud of. Oh, man. Very proud of a program that brought Muslim fanatics into our country. By the way, gave them everything. This guy, Lakanawa, everything. He had a home in Bellevue, Washington. You know, he had free everything. He had food and an Uber rides and a phone and you name it. 29 years old, 5 kids. They have to go, by the way. He's in the hospital, this fat load. We gave him lots of food, lots of free food. He's in the hospital, hopefully suffering. His family has to go. It's simple. They have to go. We have no choice. And thank God Donald Trump is president, because this would have continued for 4 more years. 15, 20 million people, Muslim fanatics, terrorists, would have continued to flow into our country. I cannot believe that Democrats can stand here today and say, we would have been better off with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. We'll get to Walz, but more on Lakanawa, the guy who drove across the country with a gun to shoot National Guardsmen who were just there to protect people, who were just there to make our capital city safe. One is dead, one's clinging to life. It is just something, it is suicidal empathy. It is insane that a country, this country allowed this to happen. We have people in elected office right now who really don't have a big problem with this. Yes, they don't have a problem with importing terrorists. After the shooting, obviously, lots of Democrats blame Trump. Others feigned, grief for poor Sarah Beckstrom. I don't think I've ever been so infuriated while sitting there reading X as I was when Zoran Mamdani and Ilhan Omar posted about this. Granted, it was kind of an obligatory thing for all elected officials. Let me post something about this awful attack in our nation's capital. This is from your next mayor of New York City. Tell me what you think is missing from this post. Throw it up there for me, Ironhead. Zoran Kwame Mandami. I'm devastated to learn of the passing of Sarah Beckstrom, a member of the West Virginia National Guard. She was only 20. As families across the nation come together to celebrate Thanksgiving, let us take a moment to think of those in West Virginia who've been plunged into unimaginable grief. All right, what's missing from Zoran Mandami's post? Her passing? She passed? Is that what happened? Kami Mandami? She passed. What was it? A car accident? A cancer? No mention. Here it is from Ilhan Omar. Just a disgusting, traitorous human being. Ilhan Omar, heartbroken over the news of the passing of Sarah Beckstrom, a National Guard member who tragically lost her life in a horrific shooting. Praying for a swift recovery for Sergeant Andrew Wolf. Bullshit, lady. You're not praying for Andrew Wolf. Some people did something in D.C. on Wednesday afternoon. That's all. The passing. They don't mention that she was murdered in cold blood by a Muslim fanatic who was shouting, Allahu Akbar. That's the difference. I mean, we talk about immigration from around the world. Only one group of people comes here with the express purpose of killing us, of killing infidels. They're not, they're not immigrants from India or China or the Netherlands. One group wants us dead. And we can't even acknowledge it. We can't even say that this is a problem, that we are importing people who want to kill us, who, before they kill us, want to rob from us, steal, want to scam us out of millions. We're going to get to Tim Walz and the latest from Minneapolis, clearly the most corrupt place in the country. But I want to get to Trump, because this is, to me, this is what we need. This is what is called for in this situation. Someone blunt, someone occasionally vulgar, someone who says, we must stop this. We must not let them in our country. There's no, let's both sides to this. Let's not talk about, most of them are law abiding. Most of them are just working hard. We don't need that kind of both sides. We don't need that pandering. No, there are people who want us dead. And it is the job of the federal government to recognize this, to identify this, and to get them the hell out. This is a job for Donald Trump. Here he is talking about this and pulling no punches. I love this. Go ahead.
The people from different countries that are not friendly to us, and countries that are out of control themselves. Countries like Somalia that have virtually no government, no military, no police. All they do is go around killing each other. Then they come into our country and tell us how to run our country. We don't want them. What are you talking about? You gotta talk up.
She said how many countries? Is there a list?
Well, I guess we gave you 19, right? There's probably more than that.
Is that what you mean when you mean third world countries, those 19?
No, I don't think they're all third world, but in many cases they are third world. They're not good countries. They're very crime-ridden countries. They're countries that don't do a good job. They're countries that don't register from the standpoint of success. And we, frankly, don't need their people coming into our country telling us what to do.
When you talk about
I'm talking about like Somalia, where you have a congressman goes around telling everybody about our Constitution, and yet she supposedly came into our country by marrying her brother. Well, if that's true, she shouldn't be a congressman, and we should throw her the hell out of our country.
Yes, that's what we need. Straight talk. A congresswoman who committed immigration fraud. We know that. We've seen the evidence. Who comes into the country and then tells us, first of all, her loyalties are with Somalia. Secondly, she is committed to bringing in as many people like her who hate the country, who look at it as a place where they can steal and scam the taxpayers, the country, and send it home to Somalia. That has to end. I think what we need now, we need to force Democrats to explain the benefit. Can someone explain the benefit of bringing in 120,000 people from Afghanistan, 200,000 people from Somalia? Quick question. Just throw it out there. One benefit. How does it help America? How does it help our country to bring in 100,000 people from Somalia? Can you explain it to me? Oh, Ilhan Omar says they're the fabric of our country. They are what makes this country great. How? In what way? We've gone over this many times. They contribute nothing unless you count, stealing, fleecing taxpayers. We're going to get to the Tim Walz scam, because even the New York Times is on to Tim Walz. This is, I cannot look at this man without wondering, what were people thinking? What was Kamala Harris thinking? She chose him as his running mate. What were 75 million people thinking a year ago when they wanted this clown, this fool, as their vice president? What are voters in Minnesota thinking? They chose this man twice as their governor, and he's running again, and he's probably going to win. We have lost our minds. We're going to get to this scam because it just gets worse. It is incredible what has happened in Minnesota, and to me, it's not the only place. There are lots of immigrants, legal, illegal, who come here and see an opportunity to scam us, to fleece us, to steal from us. And they get away with it. Why? Because Democrats, elected Democrats, let them get away with it. Tim Walz let them get away with it because A, they vote for him, and B, he doesn't want to appear racist or Islamophobic. But it looks bad for Tampon Tim because the New York Times, among many others, is picking up on it. We're going to get to the biggest scam in maybe in the whole maybe in the history of the country, the biggest scam you have ever seen. We're going to get to that. And Jasmine, she's got a plan. She's on board with deportations, not the kind Trump administration is implementing here. No, she wants to deport all the white supremacists. You know what? Let's do it, Jazzy. Let's do it. You go, you find them. You find them, and then we'll deport them. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
All right, folks, some breaking news right off the top. Beam's cyber sale is now open for early access to my listeners, and it's their best offer of the year, but for only 48 hours. Right now, my listeners get up to 50% off with code word Gerry. You can grab Dream for just $32.50. That breaks down to just $1.08 per night for the best sleep of your life. Go to shopbeam.com/Gerry. Use code word Gerry and don't miss out. This is the lowest price Dream has ever been sold anywhere, and it will likely sell out quickly. Dream is packed with ingredients your body actually needs to sleep. Reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, and yes, even melatonin, but dosed intelligently, not like the drugstore garbage that knocks you out and leaves you groggy. Here's what happens. You fall asleep fast, you stay asleep, and you wake up sharp, focused, and ready to face the day. And that's never been more important. I look at it this way. The end of the night, it's like having a little chocolate milk at the end of every night. Go to shopbeam.com/Gerry. Use code word Gerry and get up to 50% off during Beam's cyber sale. You can grab Dream for just $32.50, but here's the catch. Dream is only available at this price until it sells out. So seriously, think about it. How much would you pay for a truly great night's sleep? With Beam's cyber price, it's just $1.08 per night. Go to shopbeam.com/Gerry and try Beam today. As we know, Donald Trump's accomplished a lot in the 10 months, 11 months since returning to the White House. You know, he closed the border, restored law and order. He ended a bunch of wars, but I think we have to add this to the list. He has given us permission to use the word retarded. He has called Tim Walz perfectly retarded, and most of us saw that over the weekend and laughed. But of course, the media jumped on it and thought it was disgraceful and disgusting. You know what? I think it's time that we just stopped acting as if this is offensive. People use this word. Words evolve. There was a time where like imbecile was a clinical term, or idiot, and it just evolved into just a pejorative, just a playground slur. So let's just do that with retarded, okay? Let's just get past it and say it's not about developmentally disabled children. No, it's about people like Tim Walz. It shouldn't offend people who have Down syndrome children, because he's not talking about them. God knows he's not insulting them. He's insulting this fool, Tim Walz. And I'll be honest, I can't think of a better word to describe Tim Walz. He is a joke. He was almost vice president. Well, not only is he a liar who lied about his military record, not only is a fool who has destroyed his state, but he's a criminal. I mean, honest to God, we have to get to this point where we need justice. Tim, we can make fun of him. We can call him retarded. That's fine. But there needs to be criminal charges. He has allowed Somali scammers to steal billions of dollars from taxpayers. Yes, that's the story. And we talked about it last week, and other media outlets are picking up on it. The New York Times actually did a story about this. That's how you know you're in trouble if you're a Democrat. And the New York Times is actually covering the crime in your state. Here's the headline from the New York Times: How Fraud Swamped Minnesota's Social Services System on Tim Walz Watch. That's in the headline. Well, there was the most devastating tweet I think I've ever seen over the weekend. It's from a group of Minnesota Department of Human Services employees. Yes, these are state employees who work for Tim Walz, and they put out a long post that was just incredible. Here it is on the screen. I'm going to read some of it, but the account is Minnesota DHS, Minnesota Department of Human Services employees, state employees, and they posted this yesterday. Tim Walz is 100% responsible for massive fraud in Minnesota. We let Tim Walz know of fraud early on, hoping for a partnership in stopping fraud, but no, we got the opposite response. Tim Walz systematically retaliated against whistleblowers using monitoring, threats, repression, and did his best to discredit fraud reports. Instead of a partnership, we got the full weight of retaliation by Tim Walz. It's scary, isolating, and left us wondering who we can turn to. In addition to retaliating against whistleblowers, Walz disempowered the Office of Legislative Auditor, allowing agencies to disregard their audit findings and guidance. Media and politicians supporting Tim Walz attacked whistleblowers who were trying to raise red flags on fraudulent activity. This is a cascade of systematic failures leading up to Tim Walz. This goes on and on and on, detailing how Walz not only looked the other way when these scammers were stealing from all these charities and agencies, but he retaliated against anybody who was trying to blow the whistle in the state of Minnesota. They stole, the scam was so widespread. They stole from every agency they could. Feeding Our Future, a charity that was supposed to, feed the poor, feed children. The Housing Authority, a group that was supposed to find housing for immigrants. And the charity, as we talked about last week, that was providing services for children with autism. They stole more than $1 billion from Minnesota taxpayers. And this clown knew it. He knew it, and he looked the other way because, again, these were reliable Democrat voters and they were Somalis. So he didn't want to appear racist or Islamophobic. So he looked the other way and let them rob the taxpayers blind. This is remarkable. Even Kristen Welker on Meet the Press called out Tinkerbell Tim on this theft. Listen to his explanation. Hey, they're not all Somalian. Here's the story. 78 people been charged in this widespread scam. 77 are Somalian. 56 have already been convicted. I don't know, when there's 77 of 78 scammers and they're all Somalian, I think you have a problem in your state with a culture of theft and fraud. Here's Tampon Tim with Kristen Welker.
Well, speaking of the Somali community, President Trump is targeting them and your state. In part, he's citing fraud as the reason for his crackdown. Dozens of people of East African descent have been charged, convicted, and sentenced for stealing more than $1 billion in taxpayer money from government programs during COVID. As you know, Governor, that is more than Minnesota spends each year to run its Department of Corrections. So I want to give you a chance to respond to this. Do you take responsibility for failing to stop this fraud in your state?
Well, certainly I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. There's a reason Minnesota ranks as the top lowest childhood poverty, best place for children to live. People are taking advantage of that. They're going to prison. That is totally disconnected with demonizing an entire group of people who came here fleeing civil war and created a vibrant community that makes Minnesota and this country better. But that's Donald Trump. Deflect, demonize, come up with no solutions. He's not going to help fix anything on fraud. My God, there's a big difference between fraud and corruption is something he knows about.
Oh, God. Minnesota's a generous state, he says. Yeah, it sure is. And he doesn't want to demonize a whole group of people when 77 out of 78 are all from one group of people. I think it's time to demonize. That's what I would say. It's time to call this out, to end this, and deport them all. Deport them all. That's the moderate solution, deporting them all. I love when Democrats in the media say, oh, he's grabbing people who haven't committed any serious crimes. Well, are they here illegally? Of course, they must go. That's the moderate solution. Deport them all. Well, Tim was asked about Trump calling him retarded, and he said it's a badge of honor. And of course, it's offensive and it's disgusting and it's vulgar and all that. It's accurate. That's what you are, Tim. Here he is, proudly saying that he's honored that Trump called him retarded. Good.
Look, Donald Trump insulting me is a badge of honor for me, but I think we all know, both as an educator for a couple decades and as a parent, using that term is just so damaging. It's hurtful.
It's hurtful. You hurt. This is so. Here's a guy. He's not offended that illegal alien scammers stole $1 billion. He's offended that Donald Trump used a word. The media was very offended that Trump used a word. Well, Tim Walz looked the other way and allowed illegal aliens to steal billions from taxpayers. And he's running again, and people are going to vote for him. What the hell? Get me Trump. Trump was asked on the plane on his way back to D.C. If he stands by his comment. This is, again, what we love about Trump. He does not back off, doesn't say, oh, maybe I went too far. He says, yeah, it's accurate. It's a word people use now. It's a word that has evolved into just a slur against someone like Tim Walz, a fool, a clown, a chump who has allowed his state to be overrun and destroyed by illegal aliens. Here's Trump asked about his comments on Tiny Tim.
In that same post, you mentioned Tim Walz, and you called him what many Americans do find unoffensive or retarded. Do you stand by that claim of calling Tim Walz retarded?
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with him. Absolutely, sure.
You don't think
You have a problem with him? You know what? I think there's something wrong with him. Anybody that would do what he did, anybody that would allow those people into a state and pay billions of dollars out to Somalia. We give billions of dollars to Somalia. It's not even a country because it doesn't function like a country. It's got a name, but it doesn't function like a country. Yeah, there's something wrong with Walz.
Yeah, something wrong with him. Yeah, he's everything wrong with him. He's corrupt. He's a liar. Trump's right. He's retarded. Perfectly retarded, as Trump said. And he was very comfortable. Yeah, something wrong with him. He's a bad guy. And he's governor of a state, and the people there voted for him. He's not the only one who's retarded. The people voted for him. I think it's fair to say, fit that description as well. But the plan is to halt all immigration. The plan is to stop immigration from 19 countries who are like Somalia, who can't vet people, who don't vet people. Here's my immigration policy. Simple. Here's what Trump should say. We are going to only let in people who are going to benefit us, who are good for us. Letting in a guy, 29-year-old, unemployed Islamic fanatic with 5 children, that's not good for us. That doesn't help us. That they can't even define it. What would be the benefit to bringing in more people from Somalia or Burundi or Sudan? How does it benefit us? And of course, people like Mark Kelly go on and say he just wants to get rid of brown people. Well, is Lakanawal, is he brown? I don't know. He's a Muslim terrorist who wants to kill Americans and scream Allahu Akbar. Who cares if he's brown, white, black, green? That doesn't matter. What matters is, was he helping us? Was he good for us? And the answer in almost every case is no, of course not. They were brought here because they would eventually vote Democrat. As we see in Minnesota, it is permanently blue. It has been converted. It has been changed demographically by immigration. And that's what they want to do all around the country. And Trump is ending it, and the media is losing it because the people from those countries are mostly brown. Well, what color are the people who stole $1 billion from Minnesota taxpayers? Why does that matter? It doesn't matter. They know it doesn't matter, but they say it anyway. Jasmine Crockett has a plan. She doesn't want to deport brown people. She wants to deport white supremacists. Are they still running with this, by the way? It's hard to believe, but the guy who was president 1 year ago, Joe Biden, told us the biggest threat to the homeland is white supremacy. That's what Kamala Harris said. That's what Mayorkas said, white supremacists. And everyone was like, what? Where are these white supremacists? What are they, in the hills of Tennessee? In the woods? Where are they? We see crime committed by illegal aliens in New York and Chicago and Minnesota. We don't see a lot of crime committed by white supremacists, but Jasmine, who's running for Senate in Texas, wants you to believe they're the biggest threat. Listen to this fool.
But obviously in Trump's America, this is exactly what he wants. And the idea that one person can get out of line and commit such a horrific crime as shooting two National Guardsmen that never, ever asked to be here. In fact, we know the young lady that lost her life specifically, we're saying that this is a waste of time. But now you want to go against every single immigrant. That doesn't make sense. And it's frankly not who we are, because if that's the case, let's talk about the white supremacists and how many of them need to be kicked out of this country, because I can guarantee you, I can track down more crimes that they've committed, because overall immigrants have a lower crime committal rate than white supremacists. But we don't want to talk about that in this country.
I mean, listen to the host. The host sits here nodding. Yeah, let's talk about the crime by white supremacists. Let's get them out. What? Okay, let's get them out. Where are they, lady? Show us. You're in Texas. Are they in Texas? All these dangerous white supremacists. She's still saying that. And by the way, it's not true that illegal aliens have a lower crime rate. But even if it were true, let's just grant her. So what? Every crime committed by an illegal alien is preventable, obviously. You kick them out. You don't let them in. The white supremacists who are in her imagination, I'm guessing they're citizens, right, lady? So what are you going to do? You're going to just round them up and kick them out? The idea that the guardsmen didn't belong in D.C. is so. Here's what happened on Wednesday. A crazed Muslim fanatic shot 2 guardsmen in the head, killed one, the other. And the reaction was, they didn't belong there. Well, they were there to stop violent crime. They were there to stop people from getting killed. And they have done that for 4 months now. The murder rate is way down. Lots of lives were saved by Sarah Beckstrom and Andrew Wolf. It is such a backwards ass argument. Yes, this proves that they didn't belong there. No, it proves the opposite. It proves they do belong there because violent crime is a problem, as we saw on Wednesday afternoon. It's tragic that Sarah Beckstrom lost her life, but she volunteered. She wanted to do this job, to protect people, and she was doing that. They're doing that in D.C. Obviously, lots of potential murder victims are alive today because Trump sent in the National Guard, and I hope, and he added, again, 500 more National Guardsmen headed to D.C. They're not gonna win this. They're not. It's not gonna work. But we'll see. Pam Bondi said they're gonna pursue the death penalty. They should. A decent country would execute Ramanalu Lakanawo like today. Today, he committed this crime. He should be convicted immediately and executed. That's what you do. This is an act of war, attacking our soldiers. I remember when this country took things like this seriously and sought justice for the victims promptly. That's what should happen to this fanatic. And again, it's time to vet them, okay? They didn't vet them then. It's time to vet them. It's time to understand where we are. When we let in 123,000 people from Afghanistan, there's going to be more than one guy like this, more than two, if you count the guy in Fort Worth. We have to find them and get them out before they strike. That is the goal of the Trump administration. And thank God they're in office right now. Well, what the media did was spend about 10 minutes on this attack on Wednesday afternoon and immediately pivot to Pete Hegseth and Trump taking out the drug boats. I was watching cable news yesterday, today. It is full-time, wall-to-wall, of these war crimes. Mark Kelly's out there saying if he were still a Navy pilot, he would ignore the orders of the commander-in-chief, which have been reviewed by lawyers and are legal, but they don't care. Their goal is to undermine Trump and Hegseth. And I just can't stop asking this question. Where were you, Mark Kelly, when Barack Obama was firing drones all over the Middle East, killing civilians, killing American citizens with drone strikes? Where were you in the days after the disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal when, in retaliation, the Biden administration and Mark Milley fired a drone and killed 10 innocent people, including 7 children? Did MSNBC talk about war crimes when Biden did that and Mark Milley went in front of the cameras and said it was a righteous strike? When Joe Biden said the withdrawal from Afghanistan was an extraordinary success. That's his words, an extraordinary success. Well, we're still paying the price for Operation Allies Welcome and their effort to bring in as many illegal aliens unvetted as they could. And they lied every damn day. Oh, yeah, they've been vetted. We've checked. None of them was vetted. None. There was no vetting process. It is a bald-faced lie, and they are continuing to tell it. I watched this morning on MSNBC when they had an expert, legal military expert say they were all vetted, every one of them. It is just a lie. They will look you in the eye and lie. It's just incredible. But the Coke boat attacks will continue because they know it's legal. They know it's within the purview of the commander-in-chief and the secretary of war to do this. It will continue because these people are killing Americans. I know, the media doesn't really care about people in Appalachia who are ODing, dying, but just short of 100,000 people a year died from overdoses and poisoning under Joe Biden. I would say that's a threat to the homeland. I would say this is saving lives. Trump said with every boat they take out, we save 100,000, not 25,000 lives. Now, maybe that's overstating the case. Maybe it's 10,000. Maybe it's 1,000. But if you're saving 1,000 American lives by killing narco terrorists, I'd say that's a pretty good policy. And I would say the majority of Americans support that. Of course they do. Because again, how does it help us? How does it help this country? Well, stopping drugs, coke, fentanyl from getting into the country and killing Americans, I think that's pretty clear. It helps us. And these will continue, and the media will continue to kick and scream and cry. All right. Let's get to Monday Night Football, Ironhead. This is an interesting game. I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to be locked in. The New England Patriots, the best team in the AFC, are hosting the Giants, who get their quarterback, their young quarterback, Jackson Dart back. I don't think people understand how good the Patriots are this season. Check this out. The Patriots are the second team in NFL history to win 9 straight games while scoring 23 or more points and giving up 23 or fewer points. It's only happened one other time in the history of the NFL. You know when? 1961. The Houston Oilers did it. The Patriots are on a historic roll. The Broncos won last night in a wild Sunday night game. They're tied at the top of the AFC. But the Patriots are as good as any team in the NFL, and their quarterback is a star. They are favored by, what's the latest, Ironhead? 10?
10 and a half.
10 and a half. 10 and a half point favorites. They're going to win again. They're going to win the AFC. They're going to go to the Super Bowl. I don't see a lot of flaws in this team, but and the Giants have an interim head coach. They fired their coach. By the way, is the Lane Kiffin story is just wild. I couldn't stop following every move, and he quit Ole Miss. He's not coaching them in the playoff. He's not gonna stay on the. He's done. They took all his clothes and put him out on the sidewalk outside the stadium. He boarded a jet to LSU to take over, and the fans showed up at the airport and were screaming at him and flipping him off. It is a bizarre dynamic that college football coaches are like the only people in sports who have a contract that they can just tear up anytime they want. They can't be held to the contract. I'm not sure how they got such a good deal as a group, but they did. And Lane Kiffin's perfectly within his right to leave. But the idea that he would lead them in this historic season and then bail before a playoff, before they have a chance to win a national championship, is just incredible. You can't stay for a couple more weeks. You made this commitment to these players who made a commitment to you, and you could just bail on them. It really is a bad look, and he looks like a bad guy. And he told his coaches that they could come with him, some of them, and if they didn't, if they stayed, they were out. They were, he was not going to bring them. So he not only bails on his players, but he tried to get all his coaches to do that too. It's just so tawdry. They need to come up with a better system. But tonight, I'm going to give the points, Ironhead. I have not seen any reason to doubt the Patriots at this point. The Giants, they're feisty. They run lots of trick plays, and they're just, they have nothing to lose. That's a dangerous team. But the Patriots are home, and they are really, really good. Are you betting on this one, Ironhead?
Probably, but I think the Patriots will win like 31-10. Just like
I agree. It's going to be just another one of those games where you go, wow, this quarterback is good, this coach is good, this team is good. So I will take the favorites as well, but we will see. It's going to be fun. The NFL is just so entertaining. I couldn't tell you, man. It is a good product, despite the fools who run it. But they will be, what do you think? Patriots, Bears, Super Bowl with, you know, the 1986 revenge for 1986. Patriots, Bears, Patriots, Seahawks. I don't know. We'll see. But tonight they will continue to roll. But
I don't think any quarterback that wears nail polish is going to make the Super Bowl.
I don't know, man. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. There's some good young QBs out there, which is why the league is so entertaining. But we will see. We will leave it there for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
Look, Donald Trump insulting me is a badge of honor for me, but I think we all know, as both as an educator for a couple decades and as a parent, using that term is just so damaging. It